Coming up in this episode of KMOS Presents Missouri Life, we're on the road to Warrensburg, Missouri, where we'll play the pipes and the drums, and we'll get to see a friendly Blackadder. KMOS Presents Missouri Life. Let's discover. Funding for KMOS Presents Missouri Life is provided by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. Warrensburg was founded in 1835 by John and Martin Warren. Martin Warren was a blacksmith with a centrally located house, so travelers would often stop there to ask directions or inquire about other travelers. So Warren's house became known as Warren's Corner, which eventually became Warrensburg.
Do I look like the thing in the future called the internet? Can't you see I'm smithing here? I can't wait till people can post their location status so I can smith in peace.
Land in Warrensburg during this time was originally available for free. But of course, all good things come to an end, so by the Civil War, land had risen to an outrageous $15 an acre.
Wait, what? $15 an acre? Outrageous! When I fought for your independence, I would have never!
By the time of the Civil War, Martin Warren had gone to pound that great anvil in the sky, and Warrensburg was torn, literally. People from both sides of the war lived in town, and it's said that some Union supporters would practice maneuvers on the same field as Confederate supporters.
Okay, we need to field on Monday.
No, we want it.
Okay. No need to get all up in arms about it.
After the Civil War, yet another war raged on in the 1870s, a war over Old Drum. In a trial that would later become legendary, Senator George Graham Vest would sway the jury in the shooting death of Old Drum by referring to dogs as man's best friend. But that's a story we'll visit later. Warrensburg is also known as home to the mules. Not just that kind of mule, this kind of mule. Founded in 1871, Warrensburg is home to the University of Central Missouri. With branches at Whiteman Air Force Base and Lee's Summit, UCM has grown just like Warrensburg has during the 20th century, now enrolling more than 14,000 students from all over the world.
Not bad for the little old Martin's Corner. Just hope they'll let me smith and use that internet thing to find each other.
Michael Quimby's love for pipe organs began in elementary school when he was part of the boys' choir at the United Methodist Church of Stillwater, Oklahoma. And although he did learn to play the instrument, it was its design and construction that really fueled his passion.
I was always more interested in ultimately becoming a builder than a player. That's where my skill sets have evolved, especially with the sound of instruments.
In business since 1970, Quimby's Pipe Organs is one of only 31 firms recognized by the Associated Pipe Organ Builders of America, and its reputation has garnered work not just regionally, but from across the country.
Michael Quimby has an established reputation in his field for building instruments, large and small, that are very musical and which possess a heroic grandeur that is part of what has become our hallmark and our identity. One of the skills or talents, you might say, that he possesses is the ability to build a sound in his head that's tailored to a space and it's tailored to a program that may be given to us by a church, and to build that sound in his head and then to carry out the specifications of what it actually takes in concrete terms to make that a reality. And in our field today, there are very few people who can do that, and probably none who can do it with the accuracy and the integrity that he can.
When you go into a church, you look at the acoustics, the size, the material in which it's made, and then you begin to build a concept in your mind of what you expect the instrument to sound like. Organ builders always like to build instruments in rooms that are more lively and more reverberant than rooms that are in the organ business we call dead, without any life, because the more successful the room, the better the organ will be. We always say when you really luck out, the room is always the best stop on the organ.
One of Quimby's current projects, and his largest to date, is the Fourth Presbyterian Church of Chicago, Illinois.
Fourth Presbyterian Church was constructed in 1914 by one of the most noted Gothic architects of the time, Ralph Adams Cram, and having the honor to provide a new organ in that space is one of those rare events that happen in one's lifetime.
With these pipe organs, we're always trying to create the next greatest style or fashion of pipe organ, because we're always challenging our art. And so Fourth Pres is going to be one of the most forward instruments in the United States. And so it's actually quite thrilling to be a part of that, let alone the fun of putting together something bigger than I've ever seen in my organ career, and that most of us will ever see in our organ career. It's huge. And so getting an opportunity to do that and to be a part of that is exciting enough, but then also to be a part of something that will set musical history is quite wonderful.
In a profession that hasn't really changed in the last 6 centuries, organ building is just as much art as it is science, encompassing skills like woodworking, metalworking, leathercraft, electrical, and musical. This trade requires artisans who have a passion for their work.
The pipe organ is a community project. Everybody here does something that is valuable. The most important thing I have found in trying to keep a business going, you find the best quality people you can, you pay them the most you can, you give them the best benefits you can, and you do the best to try and make them happy and feel that they enjoy their craft, because the employee is the most important thing you have. You can have a palace, which I say that some people build, but that's not what makes a business successful. It's the individuals who are a part of it and who love it.
Hi, my name is Eric Bodeker, and today I'm going to show you another flavor of Missouri. We're heading to Cafe Blackadder to sit down with owner Julie Kendall and manager Dana Phelps.
I'd always wanted to become a part of a community and influence it in a positive way. And I've always been a cook as well, so I just kind of happened upon this and made a big giant leap, and here we are having fun. Well, we definitely are known for making our food in-house and sourcing it as locally as possible. We love to make soup around here. I just absolutely love soup, and it sells year-round. And sandwiches, we sell a lot of sandwiches as well. Homemade desserts, pie, cookies. And really, you know, the specialty here is that it's just like a little tiny place that people can come and congregate, have good food while doing it. This entire restaurant is green. We started from like tearing apart the old business and hammering nails on the sidewalk and fixing chairs and repurposing wood. So it inherently is eclectic because of that. So we had a lot of fun finding things and having people show up at our door with chairs and tables that they didn't need anymore. So it's just been quite a fun journey being able to not only learn how to fix things, but just repurposing things is really important, and it's economical. There was a business here called the Tea House prior to me opening. I really miss that business. There was a beautiful woman named Peggy Means who ran it, which her maiden name was Blackadder, which is why we named the cafe Blackadder. And she just did a great service for this community. And when she passed away, it was just time for something new. And again, that was my opportunity to just do something that I felt, would help me become a part of this beautiful community.
In 2014, Cafe Blackadder's Hearty Turkey Salami Panini was voted the best sandwich by Rural Missouri Magazine's Reader's Choice Contest. Best part about it, they didn't even know they were in the running.
They came in and did a spot on the cafe and featured us in their out-of-the-way eats. We had no idea that there was a competition, so we were quite pleased when we won. That actually brought us quite a bit of business, not only to the cafe, but to Warrensburg as well. There were people traveling around 100 miles actually to drive in. We recently found out, again, we had no idea that we were in the running, but we won Best Soup for this year. And so it's been a great honor for us. We were excited, like I said, because we weren't trying to win necessarily, and then we welcomed a lot of new folks, new faces, and we feel like, again, we're benefiting the community that way because we're bringing people off the highway in downtown Warrensburg.
So after winning these awards, the question we had for Julia was, what are the plans for the future?
Well, we are always looking for more farmers to work with, and continually trying to get more organic and just closer to this community and to this earth near us. And currently we just started working with a new farmer called Trammelled Treasures, and they have oyster mushrooms and all sorts of other mushrooms available, and they're absolutely delicious. We also are working with Green Truck Bakery, and he makes a variety of really good artisan breads in his backyard. He's got a big stone fire oven. It's quite beautiful. The bread is fantastic. It's all vegan and organic and made with organic barley flour, and it's just delicious. So basically, I guess what we're involved in right now is just trying to make things better at all times.
For more information, you can visit cafeblackadder.com.
We are standing here in the old courthouse of Johnson County, Missouri, because this is the site of the famous trial over the death of this poor dog in September of 1870. About a year before the trial, Charlie Burden had sent his dogs out to hunt. That's the way he made his living, dog and his gun. And while they were out, he heard a shot. And he was afraid that something had happened, so he called his dogs in. They all came except his favorite dog, Drum, and his neighbor and brother-in-law, Leonidas Hornsby, had been heard to swear he was going to shoot the next dog that came onto his property. So that's where the first suspicion lay. And Charlie went the next day, found Leonidas calmly grinding cider, said, "What dog was it you shot last night?" Leonidas Hornsby said, "I didn't shoot a dog." So Charlie said, "Well, if it is, it's all right. If it ain't, it's all wrong, and I'll have satisfaction at the cost of my life." And still, everyone thought Mr. Hornsby had the right to protect his property until the very end of the trial, when George Graham Best, who was partnered with another man in Sedalia, Mr. Phillips, got up and gave the famous speech that said, "Gentlemen of the jury, the one absolutely unselfish friend that a man has in this selfish world, the one that will always stay by him, never leave his side, is his dog."
The one absolutely unselfish friend a man has in this world, the one that will never prove treacherous or ungrateful, is his dog.
And so the jury was moved that much, and at the end of that speech, they found that Mr. Burden should be paid for the loss of his beloved companion, Drum. Well, that wasn't the end of the story exactly.
Okay.
Mr. Hornsby still didn't want to pay. Mr. Burden never thought $50 was enough, but it went all the way to the Supreme Court of the state of Missouri, and the verdict was upheld, and Mr. Hornsby had to pay Mr. Burden $50 for the loss of his dog. You might never have heard of this again, though, if it weren't for the famous attorneys.
Fortune drives the master forth, an outcast in this world, friendless and homeless. The faithful dog asks no higher honor than accompanying his master to guard against danger and to fight against his enemies.
Once a year, Warrensburg really goes to the dogs. But not in a bad way. Citizens of both 2 and 4 feet varieties gather to celebrate man's best friend.
Well, the Old Drum Day Festival is the newest incarnation of a festival about Old Drum. And this one started in 2012 and has gone for, this would be our 4th year. It started as a way to showcase a public arts project called Bird Dogs Unleashed that was inspired by Sue Krause. And now there are over 35 dogs painted by local artists on display all over Warrensburg in memory of Old Drum, really, and the story that has survived about him. The festival is an opportunity to get people to this side of town. This is the old square, the original town square of Johnson County, or county seat. And so that gives, we're not on the road to anywhere, so that gives people an opportunity that might not be passing by to come and visit our facilities and to learn about history. But there are also activities for children. There's always a nickel scramble where kids can root through hay for money. And we've had pony rides in the past. Paul Landcamer, a local entomophagist, comes and has his foraged feast booth, which we believe he will be doing this year at Bergfest, to teach people about how to eat from the wild, both plant and animal kingdoms. And there's dog shows. We have the Best Friend Dog Show, where people compete to see who looks most like their dog, whose dog looks most like Old Drum. It's really a colorful day. We figure this year there were about 150 dogs and about 1,600 people at the festival. So we did get a good crowd for a one-day event. And the Warrensburg Wheels Car Club sponsors a car show that people enjoy each year. And the main purpose for the Historical Society is so that people understand that we are here preserving the history and interpreting the history of the county for all of the citizens of Johnson County, and that we kind of consider it a public trust. We have found over the past 4 years of hosting this festival that the community seems to be hungry to get out and interact with each other in a safe, family-oriented environment. The people who come, it's kind of not the simplest place to have a festival, so sometimes people have to walk from further away. But people seem to enjoy the walk-in and meeting people along the way and getting along with their neighbors. Just getting out of the house, especially since it's so early in the year. Some of the vendors even are very happy to be starting the festival season. This year it was on April 9th, so it was one of the first festivals in the area. And people are ready to get out of their houses and see their friends and meet new ones.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is a youth mentoring program whose goal is to match children in the community with volunteers for the purpose of building a friendship. Its director in Johnson County, Missouri, is Stormy Taylor.
After graduating from the university, I went to work for the state at a detention center. and it was very hard. We've seen a lot of kids who made a lot of very poor choices, a lot of really bad decisions, and so it kind of felt like there had to be something better, some way to help kids before they got to that point. And it just so happened that this job came available, and I applied, they accepted me, and I've been here ever since then. Good. For the first 10 years that I was here, I of course did the casework as well, and so I worked more hands-on with the families, and so I was able to see a lot of the kids personally and see the matches. And you know, when you go places, you see them and they recognize you and you recognize them, and I think seeing that success is what keeps you doing this over and over and over. Now I see that success through what Tanisha's doing for our program, and that's what kind of drives you to keep going out and fundraising and asking people and putting yourself in some awkward positions, sometimes asking donors to give you money. And for me now, at this point, I see people who have come through our program, who have grown up, who are successful, who maybe have a family of their own, and it kind of reminds you that, you know, it's worth it. Even when sometimes you feel like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. I just can't possibly, it's not doing anything. It really is, and you really are changing, you know, the lives of a child. And there are kids that you have changed their entire direction just by simply caring. And so that's what is the most rewarding, and continually reminding you of that. I could talk for hours about some of our matches, but some of them are small, some of them are big. I always think about one time I had a little boy and we were doing a little interview with him and asking, you know, what's the best part about being with your big brother? And he says, oh, well, we go to the movies. And I was like, well, that's cool. You know, you go to the movies. And he goes, no, that's not it. That's not it. And I said, oh, okay, well, what is it? He goes, but we go to the movies and then afterwards, we go hang out in his car. And I was like, what's that about? And he goes, then we just talk about it. And he asked me what I like. And I thought, you know what? That's really it. That's somebody asking you what you like about it. And I thought, that's really what the heart of our program is just somebody feeling kind of special.
In addition to her altruistic efforts at Big Brothers Big Sisters, Stormy also donates her time and talents to other community organizations. Whether it's PTO, Dance Moms, Johnson County Climb, Warrensburg Main Street, or a wing-eating contest for charity, Stormy is always a willing volunteer in her adopted hometown.
I feel like being active in our community is very important because we are continually asking people to give back to us. As a nonprofit, I kind of feel like I always have my hand out. We have to have volunteers and we have to have money. It's not hidden. We're not making it a secret. Those are the two things that we have to survive. And so for us to be able to do that, I feel like we need to give back. And my way of doing that is by being involved. Climb is a great way for me to participate, help other people find their place in our community. Warrensburg Main Street is a great program. Together we are able to do Bergfest. Bergfest is a fantastic community project where we can bring people to our community. We can bring in dollars to our community. We can help businesses. As businesses grow, they're able to help my program. So I feel like it's kind of a circle connecting it back together. If we all work together, we can have this huge impact on what we're doing here. And so I feel like you have to be involved and be invested in the community that you live in. And you know, I'm just trying to play my part and do the things that I can do here.
Funding for KMOS Presents Missouri Life is provided by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.